Hey there everybody, how's it going? First let me say sorry, I haven't done any videos recently, but been sick for about a week now out of a couple of Nurgle spawn sitting in my sinuses, and I've been kind of out of it for about a week, so I really haven't been up to videotaping anything. But I have been working on some stuff and figured I'd just give a quick update on what's on the desk right now. What I'm doing right now is actually a departure from a lot of the other stuff. I saw Templar Crusader 1 has a contest going on, so I was thinking of possibly entering it. I have an idea I've been working on. I'm not quite sure how it's going to come out, but I'll show you where I am so far. Basically what I'm going to do is a diorama, and this one's going to actually be, well, it started out being the Golden Throne and morphed into actually the Emperor sitting on the throne. And I'm actually working on some, I guess, a short story to go along kind of with the diorama to explain kind of the story behind it. So let me show you what I've got so far. This is going to be a diorama, and it's actually going to be called The Emperor Wept. And essentially the story is, this is kind of shortly after he finds out the horse has betrayed him, and in the books and everything you always kind of, the Emperor's thought of like as a god being, and I thought it'd be interesting to show kind of a human moment where he takes a minute and reflects on what's happened and has a very human reaction to being betrayed by his son. Well, sons, I guess, would be plural by this point. So what I have here is the Emperor on his throne, and obviously nothing's painted so far. I'm still actually working on some of the detail. The figure, this is actually an Inquisitor figure. This is Battle Brother Artemis that I've heavily chopped up and modified a bit. But and really this is essentially everything off of the Artemis figure, and the shoulder pads are actually from the Tyrus Inquisitor figure. I dropped those on top. I thought that added a kind of a cool look to it. Obviously green stuff, some hair, probably still have some more to do on that. Chopped up the arms so you get them articulated differently, and right now it's just blue stuffed in place, but essentially it'll be the Emperor with his head bowed, holding in this hand, it'll be probably an amulet with like the symbol of Horus on it, just kind of him reflecting on his lost son. The knee pads are actually some shoulder pads from Skyborn Miniatures that I put on there. I thought would be pretty cool. And I've added some decoration on the legs. These are actually from the Dark Angels brass pieces that I've formed around the legs here, because all the pictures you see, the Emperor's armor is very ornate. Now this leg, you'll notice, is white. The reason being, this is actually a casting of the other leg that came with the Artemis piece. And let me see if I actually have the actual one. I'll show you what that looks like and why I had to do a casting of it. Essentially, since it was metal, I didn't have a saw that was fine enough to cut it the way I wanted. So what I'm doing is making a casting of a leg with some resin that I had. And I'll show you what the actual leg looks like. This is what the original leg looked like here, so I had to cut it in several places so I could put them in a sitting position. Because the way the Artemis figure, it's like he's running. So I actually had to chop off this piece here, straighten it out, cut this section out here so the leg would bend down, and then also cut out the off the leg from the cod piece here so I could rotate it. And again, I didn't have a saw that would really give me the accuracy I needed to cut that without taking away too much material, so I basically made a quick plastic casting. Made a mold and cast it so it would be easier to cut the plastic than the metal. So I've done some green stuffing on here. Unfortunately, my green stuffing leaves a lot to be desired, but it's still a work in progress, so I'll try and clean it up some. Now the throne itself, this is actually, well, the sword is from the Grey Knight's Dread Knight. I just cut the hand off and glued the pieces together to make it like the Emperor's sword. Excuse me, still a little sick, so I apologize for any coughing I do. Now the bulk of the throne itself is actually, these are all pieces I've cut out from the Imperial Sector terrain set. I actually hacked up quite a few pieces to get this the way I wanted. Again, most of this is from there. Now the back piece here, also wanted to show some of the technology. And again, 99% of this is from the terrain set. But this piece here and this piece here are actually a couple of computer parts. This is a heat sink off of a CPU that I had sitting around, and this is actually the motor out of a fan. I chopped the fan blades off and put the motor in there, and this is this glass tube. I'm actually going to fill it with something so it looks like there's energy flowing in there. But this is actually just a tube. If you've gotten any of the master brushes from what are they? The Kolinsky Master Series 7 brushes, they come in plastic tubes. So this is just a piece of plastic tube there with the black ends in place. And again, I just want to kind of give you the idea of like kind of a chamber that the psychic energy will flow through. But again, all these other pieces are from the Imperial Sector terrain piece from excuse me, different buildings. The eagle itself is from the brass Imperial Eagle set you can get, and again, this is just blue tacked in place. Because again, none of this is permanent yet. I still have to do some tweaking on it. And then the plastic pieces are just plastic card. For my business, I do a ton of traveling, so I always end up with those magnetic cards you get from the hotels that kind of look like these. So since I do a lot of traveling, I probably have about 100 of these sitting around, and they make good plastic stock, so I end up chopping those up to use for the plastic pieces. And so aside from that and the two pieces in the back, well, this section here, everything else is from the Imperial Sector. The steps are different parts, again, just all the plastic pieces from the different cards I had. But that's kind of where I'm at now. The big thing I have left to do that I'm kind of leery about doing, and I'm not quite sure I'm up to it, is I have to give a cloak to the Emperor. He's basically going to go behind his back that he's going to be sitting on, and it'll be draped down over the front step. Again, my green stuffing I'm kind of not great at, so I'm a little worried about how that's going to come out, so I'm not quite sure I'm going to enter this in the contest or not. Now the other rule for the contest has to be on a 60mm base, so the way I've been working on a base here, essentially this whole piece will be sitting on top of the base. Let's see if I can get this actually back far enough to give you an idea of what it'll look like. This will basically be on here and kind of show the, probably make that a little lower, it's a little tall, but kind of give the idea of all the circuitry and wires and tubes feeding up into the golden throne. And I think that's the other part. The painting is going to be tricky on this, because again, it's a golden throne, the Emperor wears gold, so it's going to be kind of interesting to paint this and keep it all gold, yet not have the detail look too blended because of all the same colors. So again, I'm not quite sure how this is going to turn out, but this is where it's at now. I mean, I've been pretty happy with the overall modeling aspect of it and how everything came out. I'm just not sure my painting skills will be up to the task, but we will see. But anyway, just a quick update to show you it's on the desk at the moment. This has actually been quite a bit of bit of work probably over the last couple of weeks. This is all I've been working on. Between being sick and work, haven't had a ton of time, but that's where it is at the moment. And I still have I think almost 2 months. I think it's the end of July for the contest. So hopefully I'll get some more time and be able to get some more detail on there and see how the painting comes out. And again, still some modifications and green stuffing to do, but just wanted to show where things are at now. And if you have any comments, questions, I'd be happy to answer them, put them down below. I'd like to know what you guys think. And I guess that's about it. So please rate and comment, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks.